All right, well, let's get started. Good morning and thanks for joining us for today's workshop. My name is Mike Dee. I'm the VP of Sales for Scope Technologies. Before we start, just a couple of quick housekeeping notes. First of all, that this call will be recorded and shared with you, so you don't need to take notes if you don't want to. Secondly, if you have questions, you can chat them to me by clicking on the orange clock on the right-hand portion of your screen. This will let you type in your questions, which I'll do my best to address during the call. And then thirdly, we want to respect the allotted 15 minutes for the workshop, but I'll stay on the call longer to answer any questions that you might have. We got an overwhelming response to this session, and we'll continue to offer these on a regular basis. So if you or anyone on your team wants to participate in future workshops, you'll have many chances to do that. We think the reason for the response is because while our aerial measurement reports are important tools that help you grow your business, they sometimes leave you half pregnant, since once you've got the report, you almost always have to do something else with it, like generate an estimate or a work order or an invoice. So having the ability to create those documents directly from the scope report is a game changer for contractors like you looking to increase their top line revenue. So today I'm going to show you how our tools will help you sell more roofs. We'll start by showing you how to order reports, add team members, and use our text to scope. Then we'll go through ProDocs, which is our new tool that scrapes the measurements from our reports to easily generate estimates and work orders for you. There's no trickery today. Everything you see is being done in real time, and there's no reason you can't be up and running on these tools immediately. I'd like to answer two of the most common questions we get about ProDocs up front. First, for this workshop, we've created a couple templates. They're just examples of what you can use, but know that you can and should create your own templates specific to your business. Materials, pricing, waste, overhead, and profit are all customizable, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. You can create as many templates as you like. For example, you might have templates for Owens Corning or other material manufacturers, or for a retail roof and an insured roof, since ProDocs is a great tool for supplemental claims. And you can even create templates for each insurer, maybe one for Allstate, USAA, or Nationwide. You might even want to create a good, better, best estimate. It's all totally and entirely up to you. Secondly, we want to be your valued partner. So we've turned ProDocs, team members, and text to scope on in each of your accounts at no cost to you. So there's no reason you can't be up and running on these tools very quickly. You've already been assigned an account executive, and he or she will be happy to help you walk them through them again, or help you build your first template to get you started. Again, if you've got any questions during the presentation, please feel free to chat them to me or just call it out at any time. So here we go. You should see my Let's Get Started screen. Does everybody see that? If someone would tell me that they see that, that would be great.
Roger that. We got it.
Great. Okay, good. So here we go. So let's set up my account first. This is the RoofScope.com page, but I want to set up my account. And to do that, I click the little house on the upper right-hand side, and I want to go into My Details. There are three key areas that I want to highlight for you here. First, I want to make sure everybody that I want to be able to order reports is listed as a team member. This gives them their own login access to the corporate account so they can order scopes and at their will. So you do that here. Hit the little pen. You simply type in Matt Robertson, Matt at RoofScope.com. Matt's now added as a team member. Matt will get an email from us momentarily that tells him to go on, log into RoofScope.com, create his own password. So he'll be able to order scopes from us, but it will happen under the corporate account. Secondly, I want to make sure my office administrator or project managers see every scope ordered. So I add them as CC. This means they get an email every time a scope is ordered and delivered by anybody on the team. So I want to put Wendy at RoofScope.com, and I want to add Wendy as the email receipt. So Wendy's going to see it. Wendy's going to get an email every time a scope is ordered. And then third, I want my guys to be able to order scope reports from the field on their cell phones. So I add their numbers down here in the text to scope area. hit the verify button. We'll send you a verification code. You type it in here, and then this number here is what you'll use to add to send a text to us anytime that you want to order a scope. So you simply text us with the address that you want scoped. We'll text you back with a confirmation that that's what you want done, and then you'll get another text once that scope is in your account. Right? So those are the three main components that I want you to consider here: adding team members, adding email recipients where appropriate, and then registering phones under this text to scope. So let me do that here. 760. Add that phone. They'll now get a verification code. They'll type it in here, and from her phone, she'll be able to text to scope. So I've set up my account. Now let's go order a report. I'm going to choose the house that I grew up in. It's a sprawling 27 squares ranch style home in San Diego. There it is, and you can see it's across the street from my elementary school, which with a gravel playground, which made it really challenging to slide into second. So we've got my address in. I've identified whether or not I've got a small or large property, whether it's residential or commercial. So I'm on small residential. Sadly, I didn't have any auxiliary buildings at my house growing up, but if I did, I would enter them here, and we'll do up to 4 buildings for a RoofScope report. And then I simply choose the report that I want. It's either a roof scope or paint scope, insulation, siding, gutters. We do all that, and then I add to cart. A day or so later, that report is then delivered and dropped into my scope account. And if you're used to ordering scope from us, this will be no surprise to you. This My Scopes page is where is a repository for every scope that I've ever ordered. And you can see that I've got roof scope and concrete scope and insulation scope. And what I want to do now is show you how easy and quick it is for you to generate an estimate or a work order from any one of those scopes that we delivered. So let's go look at 1000 Opportunity Way in Denver. You guys know that you can download the PDF. Here's what our report looks like. This is our typical delivery to you guys. You typically get 4 aspect ratios of the house from a and a CAD technician works up this drawing of that particular property, identifies each plane, the area of the plane, pitch, high, ice and water shield is identified by the hatched area over here, and then down at the bottom we've got a legend, so you know if you've got an eave or a hip or a rake, ridge, whatever it is in that. So for that cut up roof, they then summarize that data up in the upper left hand corner here. We've got each of the line items that you're used to seeing from us and are necessary to order the roof estimate. As you can see here, this roof is 43.1 squares. I want to go back to this report, and I want to simply go into ProDocs, and I've got the choice to generate an estimate or a work order, and in 3 clicks I'm going to generate an estimate for you. There's one. We've decided on an OC duration system template. 2 clicks and 3 clicks to generate that estimate. That was done in real time, guys. Now, as I said, we've created a template for this, right? You can and should create your own templates, but it's just that easy to create this estimate. You can drop in your own PO. You can edit any one of these fields. You can pre-populate it with the notes you see down here, or you can edit or delete those notes. We've got a footer down at the bottom for you. But most importantly, what we've done is we've taken the 43.1 squares from that report and we've populated this estimate. So you can see that's 43.06. We've actually gone out to the right another decimal point because we want to be more accurate. We've identified each of the line items necessary for this OC roof. Our pricing for that, the amount, we've done the math for you, and we've totaled it up for you in a very simple and easy to read form. I've kept the RoofScope logo up here, but you can use your own logo if you want. It's super simple to do that. And if I turn the page, I've got an invoice that you can send immediately to your customer so you guys get paid for doing your hard work. For both the invoice and the estimate, I can email that, I can download it and save it to my desktop, or I can print it. Let's go take a quick look at the template that I used to generate this estimate. So in this template, as you can see, I've identified these dozen or so line items. It's completely and totally up to you what you want to do with this. To edit a line item, you simply hit the edit button over here, and you can see that we've populated this quantity field. So that's the 43.06 squares that come from the roof. It's then your call to identify waste, labor, material cost, overhead, and profit, and we do the math for you. I'm going to hit the edit button again, and I'm going to show you that we're identifying this as squares. Other line items in the report, for instance, the venture, comes in linear feet, but it's the same process. We're identifying the number of linear feet from that particular roof. We're automatically populating this field. It's up to you to call out waste, labor, material, overhead, and profit in order to generate that estimate. You can move a line item super easily by dragging it. You can add a line item very easily. So there's a heat and moisture vent. So that's identified. You then go in and edit that. You can again see that the line item, excuse me, the linear feet is called out. It's up for you to identify your material cost, and then we're going to pull that from the hip and ridge. It's here where you'll identify your project notes and call those out, as well as your footer note. And for this particular example, I included the state tax applied to 40% of total cost. Again, it's that easy to generate that estimate and that invoice right away. Second step, I now want to generate a work order. I'm going to go back to this 1000 Opportunity Way in Denver. I'm going to generate this time a work order, not an estimate. I'm going to default to this OC duration template that I've created. I'm going to hit continue, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to generate the work order. So you can see here that we've called out this true definition from Owens Corning, each one of these in bundles, boxes, rolls, pieces, whatever's appropriate for that particular work order. Here's your chance to type in some specific notes. We've got a footer. Each one of these items and line items up here is again editable, including your logo. You type in your work order here. You can then email this to your supplier. You can download it, you can print it. If I flip over the page, I'll go into my material cost so I know what I'm looking at from a materials perspective. I think I've got a $22,000 roof with $10,000 worth of material cost here. I'm going to flip the page back again to show you how I created this work order. It's a different template. And you can see here that I've identified each one of the line items specific to this particular roof. I've identified the manufacturer. In this case, it's Owens Corning. I could have chosen any one of these or generic. And once I do that, I've simply got to identify the color from the drop down. And even items where I want a generic item. So I'm going to, in this case, I'm going to match generic spray paint to the shingle. Here again, each one of these line items is editable. In this case, what we're doing is we're taking the 43.06 squares, we're applying a 10% waste factor, we're converting these from squares to, in this case, bundles. We then know that 1 square equals 3 bundles. I'm going to round up because you can't buy a half or a quarter bundle, and I know then that I need 143 squares at $35.65 a bundle, and we just simply do the math for you out here to the right. So it's a very simple process, guys, once you've created these templates. After you've created this template, if you make modifications to this, you can save that as a new template, and you'll then have two. So for instance, in creating a USAA template versus an Allstate template, or any other insurer, if you want to make modifications to the pricing here, you can do it very simply, and then you'll be able to create 3 new templates. Thank you very much for your attendance today. We appreciate it. We'll be having these on a regular basis. We look forward to seeing you again. Thanks, guys. Cheers.